Today. So we're going to get into exactly why everyone is getting fat. Now, I am sounding the alarm on this because you got to realize that this is one of the leading causes of death in America. Obesity is one of the leading causes of death. So I'm not going to say body positivity is good if it's leading people to their deaths. All right. I want to be here to save lives and to make you the healthiest version of yourself. But let me just give you some reasons why everyone is like has been getting fat, especially in the past, 5 years. It's been getting worse and worse and worse. Kids are obese. 2/3 of America is overweight. So let's get right into it. No sugarcoating, guys. First thing is the lack of nutrition knowledge. They do not teach us this stuff in school at all. I literally in high school had zero idea how to eat, what to eat. We're eating like Pop Tarts for breakfast and wheat donuts. Like, what the hell is that? And then you eat pizza for lunch and you have milk with like rice and chicken, or like you have a sub with rice and chicken. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And then you have like milk with pizza. That literally doesn't make any sense at all. So, we don't know exactly what to consume and why we should consume it. And then if you do know what exactly you're supposed to consume, you don't know why you're supposed to consume it. So then that makes you less likely to do it. And then you see the commercials and then what your teachers eat. Obviously, that's not what you're supposed to be eating. And that's another problem as well. And then knowing why certain foods are bad would also help. But we end up literally eating a bunch of fast food. And then the vending machines obviously have a bunch of candy. People are selling candy at school. So no one really eats healthy at school at all right, advertisements. I literally only craved like McDonald's or Burger King because it used to be advertised to me 24/7 since I was a little kid. So I've probably seen thousands and thousands of ads for these by the time I'm my age right now, right? I've seen thousands of ads, and it's literally the only thing that's processed. I mean, that's advertised heavily is processed foods. I've never seen a commercial for like a healthy meal or anything like that. I always see commercials for, quarter pounders, Big Macs on sale, or KFC or Popeyes, things like that, right? Even on YouTube, I see those commercials 24/7. And then everyone that's always eating candies and commercials, they always look super happy and excited. And then the gummies and the candy always looks, super happy. Like the Skittles commercials, those are like the happiest commercials that exist on earth. All right. And like I said, I used to want McDonald's and the Happy Meal as a kid because of the advertisement, right? They get you with the Happy Meal that makes you go there, and then you eat the food because it comes with the Happy Meal. And you really want the Happy Meal because, when Toy Story came out, you had the Buzz Lightyear toy, and I really like Buzz Lightyear, so that's why I ate the Happy Meal food. I mean, that's why I eat McDonald's, like shit like that. And then candy, I loved it because it's commercials and it gives you like a sugar high. So once you start eating that as a little kid, you start getting that dopamine hit. Now you're in love with sugar. So by the time you get older, you're going to be eating a lot of sugar, a lot of carbs, a lot of processed sugars just because you're used to it because you're eating it as a little kid, guys. So it's just like there's a lot of advertisement, like lots and lots and lots of advertisement. I literally still see pizza advertisement all the time. And listen, especially when I'm on a cut, like on a severe cut, and I see pizza advertisement, it hurts like hell, guys. But that's all I see. I see pizza advertisement. I've never seen any healthy food advertised. As long as I've existed, I've never seen any. All right, social norms. So we're definitely social creatures, guys. And if your friend group is heavier set and you start eating healthy, you're gonna make them feel, you're gonna make them feel uncomfortable. And in society, if you say you're gonna start a diet, then people are like, "Oh my gosh, like why are you dieting? You're just trying to be healthy. You're trying to be different." Like eating healthy is considered a diet because everyone eats so unhealthy, right? Everyone eats so much processed food, so unhealthy. Everyone's so overweight that if you're lean, people usually make fun of you. Like there's a lot of TikTok videos of people like, "Oh, I don't care if you have like muscles. It doesn't matter. You always trying to be in the gym and be healthy." And it's like you shouldn't shame people for trying to be healthy because obviously there's benefits to being healthy and there's zero benefits to being unhealthy except feeling like shit and looking like shit, right? So it's way more normalized to eat unhealthy food, especially if you're like in a work environment. In a work environment, a lot of the times they'll buy like they'll buy like DoorDash food and it's like normal for everyone to eat the same thing. So if you eat something different, people are like, "Oh, why are you trying to be different?" They start to shame you. That used to happen to me all the time working as a nurse. They used to bring Jamaican food, Haitian food, or pizza or Chinese food, and they'd be like, "Why don't you want some?" And I'm like, "You guys already know I'm not going to eat it, right?" And they would always try to like kind of make me eat some too, but I would never eat some because obviously I don't want to feel sluggish the rest of the day, and obviously it's just not healthy in general. And why would you tell your patients not to eat a certain food and you eat it yourself? That's literally the craziest shit ever. But yeah, that's just how the medical field is, guys. And then when you go out to eat, everyone drinks and eats unhealthy food, so it's even more, you know, it's easier for you to make bad decisions, especially when you go out to eat. Now, everywhere you go out to eat these days, because it's 2024, has healthy options. So if you go out to eat, that is not an excuse to eat unhealthy. However, when you go out to eat, If you go out with friends and they're, heavier set and they're eating junk, you're going to want to eat the junk too, right? Because the margaritas are going to come to the table, the tortilla chips with the cheese dip, and then the wings are going to come to the table, right? And you don't want to be the weird one, the odd one out. So you might be more likely to eat that. I don't care if I'm the odd one out. I'd rather be the odd one out than be unhealthy with high blood pressure, um, or just feel like shit 24/7, guys, right? So going out, another thing is they always push dessert and appetizers on you. The appetizers and desserts always have more calories than the entrees. The entrees are usually pretty decent. Like even if you get some chicken tenders, it's like 800 calories. The entrees, the appetizers are always like 1,000, and then the desserts are always like 500 to 1,000, but it's all carbs and fat, right? So the entrees, the steak and the sweet potatoes and like the vegetables, those are like 490 calories. The one at Outback. If you get an appetizer, it's like 1,000 calories. So yeah, it's just more normalized to eat unhealthy than it is to eat healthy. If you eat healthy, like I used to bring ground beef and ground turkey to like work, and people were like, "Why are you eating that? Don't eat too much protein. Oh my gosh, it's gonna mess up your kidneys." Dumb shit like that. And I'm just like, listen, you're overweight. You have prediabetes. That means your kidneys are way more at risk than me. So I don't even think you know what you're talking about. All right. The dumbass body positivity movement, guys. There's been a significant body positivity movement recently. Like, oh no, it's okay to be bigger. If it was okay to be significantly overweight, then your doctor would not say anything negative to you. Your doctor would be like, oh wow, your blood pressure is good. You're not pre-diabetic. You're really healthy. Congratulations. There would be no BMI scale. There would be none of that stuff, right? But when you're on your BMI, when you're morbidly obese, now you could be overweight on your BMI if you have like muscle mass, but when you're morbidly obese on your BMI and your blood pressure is high, you have high cholesterol, you're pre-diabetic, you're out of breath, you're sluggish, that's an issue. That's not like, no, it's okay. No, it's not okay. Because now you feel sluggish. You probably don't like how you look, but now you're at risk for pretty much every comorbidity that exists. And like I said, obesity is one of the leading causes of death in America. So now you're increasing your chances of death, obviously, guys. So I don't know how that's positive. I don't know why you would promote that, but Big Pharma runs this country, and a lot of you guys don't seem to realize that. So it is what it is, right? So if you want to continue to gain weight and feel more sluggish and hate what you see, feel like shit 24/7, then continue to do what you do. People do come in all shapes and sizes, but body fat is body fat, guys. If everyone is 10% body fat, which I'm not gonna like, if you have a bunch of different dudes that are 10% body fat, yes, they'll have different muscle insertions. Yes, it'll look different, but all of them will most likely be healthy unless they're on like steroids or have some kind of genetic condition, which is rare. Okay. I know you're going to say there's some skinny, unhealthy people, obviously, but majority of them are, you know, obese. Because listen, obesity is the leading cause of death, not skinny-ecity. All right. There's no skinny-ecity. All right. That's not a leading cause of death, is being skinny. That's just not a leading cause of death, guys. So I don't want to hear people say, oh my gosh, like you could be a normal weight too and be unhealthy. Normal weight activity is not a leading cause of death. It's obesity, guys. Excuses. All right, so lack of exercise as well. A lot of people have become more sedentary, especially since 2020 when the pandemic happened. It made a lot of people more sedentary, but also before that, kids were no longer playing outside because of, you have video games. Everyone's playing Minecraft and Roblox and on their iPads or on their phones. Kids are getting phones, so they're just on their phones all day watching TV, watching YouTube. And yeah, kids don't play outside anymore. When I was growing up, I used to play outside. We used to run outside, but also they're taking PE out of schools as well. They're taking physical education out of schools. So yeah, you're just seeing a lot more heavier set people. More people are just sitting around. So yeah, they might be eating the same amount of food as we were, but they're way less active than we were as well, right? Like we used to eat candy and play outside. Well, actually, when you're playing outside, you usually don't eat because you're playing outside, right? So we used to just play outside. You could play tag, play basketball, football, just spend our time outside in the sun. So obviously, we're burning way more calories than the kids these days who are snacking and watching a lot of, watching a lot of TV, YouTube videos, and really just being sedentary majority of the day. Like I would guesstimate that my steps as a little kid, if I had like a step tracker as a little kid, I probably got like 20,000 steps a day because we used to just play pickup football and basketball for like 10 hours straight, right, on the street. And now, most kids don't get 20,000 steps in a month. So that's a significant effect on that. And then, of course, working from home for a lot of adults, that's causing them to not be as active as they used to be. And people aren't as social as they used to be either, especially, since the pandemic. All right, here is a big one. I'm gonna make a whole video on this, but I decided to put this in here. But I'm gonna make a whole video on this: holidays and weekends, right? Listen, why is every holiday celebrated by binge eating? It makes no fucking sense. All right. Thanksgiving is not even a holiday. It's literally you gather around and you be sedentary and you overeat. This shit makes no sense. Why is that the way you celebrate a holiday? Like being with family, I'm big on being with family, right? Family's awesome. But just binging with your family for what? What is the point of binging with your family? Like that shit doesn't make any sense, right? And then you got Christmas, a big dinner there too. Then you got July 4th, binge eat too, and then you got St. Patrick's Day, you're supposed to drink. Then Valentine's Day, you're supposed to eat a bunch of candy and chocolate, right? It's advertised in the stores. And then, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Like, you're supposed to be healthy on New Year's. And then as soon as Valentine's Day comes 6 weeks later, you got to eat a bunch of fucking chocolate. That shit makes no sense. All right. And then you got St. Patrick's Day, a lot of drinking, eating. Then you got like Labor Day, people usually drink. And then weekends as well. Weekends are literally 30% of your year. So if you were to eat perfect Monday through Thursday, I mean absolutely perfect, and celebrate weekends and holidays like most people do, which is with drinking and overeating, you would still be overweight. You'd never reach your goals because weekends and holidays together take up like 40% of your year. So doing what you need to do 60% of the time is not going to work when 40% of the time you're overeating. And if you're doing what you need to do 60% of the time, and then holidays and weekends you overeat and you drink, you're going to be frustrated that 60% of the time you're doing something isn't working. So that's going to make you even more likely to continue your holiday and weekend habits throughout the week, which is what really happens. And that's how you start to gain the weight. A lot of people have that issue. I see it all the time. People are like, well, it's the weekend. I don't have to work out. Turning off your brain for the weekend, you can do it for work, but like you should still eat what you're eating during the week. It's a lifestyle, not just a weekday thing. Like you're never going to get results if you take off weekends for like nutrition. All right. You can take off weekends from exercise. You can take off weekends from work, but taking off weekends from nutrition doesn't make any sense because your body, like calories still count on the weekends. People don't understand that. But yeah, holidays and weekends, calories still count. All right. People don't understand that. All right. Lack of, awareness regarding calorie consumption. So this is very similar to like not being taught in schools, but we literally have no idea how much we're eating. We sit on the couch, we drink some soda, we eat some, Doritos, one piece of pizza, and then we're like, whoa, why am I gaining weight? I barely ate yesterday. I mean, your portion sizes were pretty small, but eating, a lot of chips and eating a couple of pizzas and drinking soda, that's like probably 50 grams of sugar, that's probably like 100, at least 200 grams of carbs, right? So it's a lot of carbs and fat, right? And that's just one snack. A lot of times we snack on stuff we don't even realize. We might go to the vending machine. We might have a vending machine habit. You might go to Starbucks every morning and get a Frappuccino. And then you're like, you know what? It's kind of boring having a Frappuccino without banana bread. That's 1,000 calories right there, majority fat and carbs. Or you might go to McDonald's in the morning, get a sausage egg McMuffin and a hash brown. And then you're like, you know what? Why would I not wash this down with some soda or some orange juice? You know what I mean? So a lot of people do not know how much they're eating. And if you don't know your exact calorie intake, then I'm talking to you. Okay. I don't care if you think you eat pretty good. If you are, heavier set and you think you eat pretty good, it's not genetic. It's not hormones. You're just overeating. Okay. Let me repeat that. It's not genetics. It's not hormones. You're overeating. Now, hormones will play a factor for like 2% of people. Usually not the people who are complaining. The people who are complaining usually are just overeating. Right. When I break it down, it says like, yeah, you're overeating. You're not eating 1,000 calories like you think you are. All right. And like I said, the panoramic in 2020 had like a significant effect. When I've talked to people for the past 4 years, like when I've had consultations, most people say, yeah, man, I gained weight during, that time. We had to stay inside at the DoorDash, the gyms were closed. And I remember that time because I got fat during that time too. That's when my transformation, like I was decently lean before that, probably like 195 or some shit. And then I got up to like 230, 226 shit during that time. So I definitely understand that. Because the gyms were closed and I was like, dang, the gyms were my relief. Initially, I went outside, did some bodyweight workouts, but it just wasn't the same. And then you're staying in the house. Everyone's mental health was off. Everyone's getting depressed. And a lot of us picked up severely bad habits during that time and just continue those habits because, life just piled on other stuff. And now you have these bad habits. So it's like, you know what? It's just DoorDash and Uber Eats is popular. Let's get some DoorDash. Let's get some Uber Eats. So you're ordering DoorDash, Uber Eats at home. Then when you get to work, you're ordering it too. So yeah, it happened to a lot of people, and just the panic and the negativity, all those negative emotions. A lot of people went to food for stress, or it's like there's nothing else to do but watch Netflix and eat because going outside, you got to be like 6 feet from everyone. So it was really crazy during that time. So everyone stayed in their house and overate basically, and that caused a spike in like the weight gain. I would say that spike in weight gain is similar to like when the baby boomers came back and there was a spike in like obviously pregnancies and stuff like that. That's like how 2020 affected the spike in weight gain. All right. The recommended foods by society are absolutely ridiculous. Like they want you to wake up in the morning and eat some Pop Tarts, something high in sugar basically. Like they advertise it, they say it's fine. So they want you to wake up and eat cereal and then throughout the rest of the day eat a bunch of carbs, don't eat protein, don't eat too much protein basically. So they basically want you to be fat with type 2 diabetes is what society wants, which will be great for big pharma. So that makes sense. When in reality, you should be eating higher protein breakfasts. And especially for dudes, eating like eggs and bacon or eating eggs and steak in the morning or throughout the day is going to increase your testosterone. That's why testosterone levels are low because our nutrition is horrible. And then, of course, lack of exercise as well. And yeah, they usually recommend like if you talk to, well, most doctors are starting to wake up because we've been grilling them on like TikTok for the past few years. But doctors used to say, literally 2021 and before, doctors were like, eggs are bad for you, bacon's bad for you, steak is bad for you. But you can have, oatmeal is fine, but they just want you to eat it like raw dog oatmeal, like eat a bunch of oatmeal instead of like eat it with eggs. But they would just say, yeah, just eat cereal. You can eat cereal in the morning or Pop Tarts. And then they would recommend Pop Tarts and cereal over eggs. Like that doesn't make any sense. They obviously don't have your best interest at heart, which is why I never listen to like what society tells you to eat. Because if you did, you're probably going to be on medication as well. All right. Steak, diet soda, and eggs are seen as bad when in reality, you can have a burger and people burger with fries and the burger with like 80/20 meat from the restaurant with a bunch of butter on the bun. That's fine with fries. And then regular soda is fine according to society. And then eggs are horrible, but you can have fried chicken. Doesn't make any sense. One more thing I see a lot is a victim mentality, right? Now, with life in general, like you're always going to be going through something, but if you have the victim mentality, you will never overcome it. You will literally never overcome it if you just continue to have victim mentality. So you could only have the victim mentality for so long. Like if you have a victim mentality, you're never ever going to reach your goals because something's always going to be happening because that's just the nature of life. So you can see everything as an obstacle, or you can see everything as something that you can overcome. All right. So you can look at the glass half full or you can look at the glass half empty. Victim mentality is always looking at the glass half empty, saying, obesity is genetic. Why do things always happen to me? Blah, 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 all that stuff. Listen, everyone's going through it. Everyone goes through it. It's what you do. It's what you control, right? Because there are some things you control. Going to the gym and everything you put in your mouth. Once you control those two things, then you'll start to take control back of your life, which is why when you see people with fit physiques, they have a lot of respect because people know that, like, wow, man, every time I have a temptation, I just say, you know what, this isn't fair because someone put this candy in front of me and I eat it, but this person is lean, so they clearly overcome that temptation with their discipline, right? You could blame fast food, but you're the one buying it, guys. You are literally the one buying it and eating it. Like, imagine blaming fast food and being like, man, I wouldn't be so big if it wasn't for fast food. Listen, you're either DoorDashing the fast food, like, listen, random people don't just hand you fast food, all right? Like, pull up to your house and hand you fresh fast food. You go, well, there's no such thing as fresh fast food, anyways. You go through the drive-through line and you ask for the fast food. You literally manifest it when you talk. You say what you want. You say, I want a Big Mac and a large fries and a cheeseburger and some soda, which is a big back meal. You say that shit, and then you pay for it, and then you grab it, and then once you grab it, you take it home, you put on Netflix or whatever you put on the news, and then you chew the food, you swallow the food, and you realize that you're eating 1,000 calories, and you continue to eat, and then it's 1,500 calories. Then you drink the soda, and now you're at 2,000 calories, and you wonder why you're gaining weight. Come on, guys, take some accountability. The lack of accountability in society is another thing. Like if you hold someone accountable, you get canceled, or if you hold someone accountable, you're being mean. It doesn't make any sense. Like if you say, hey, you're getting a little bit overweight, you should probably cut back on your food. People are like, wow, you're fat phobic. If you were fat phobic, that would be good. So you can help that person, lose fat so they could be healthier. Because listen, if you tell someone who's overweight, if you tell them they're not overweight and they end up dying of obesity, you are literally an accomplice to murder. All right. Because you didn't hold them accountable. All right. Because holding people accountable is the only way people get better in the first place. Constructive criticism is another thing that works. All right. But anyways, let me stop rambling. So basically, here are the reasons everyone's getting fat, guys. The victim mentality, probably one of the biggest ones. Always feel like everything's happening to you. The lack of nutritional knowledge, the lack of exercise, social norms, and the dumbass body positivity bullshit that doesn't make any sense. Yes, everyone has, different genetics, different distribution of fat, but no one, there's never been a big bone skeleton, guys. There's never been a big bone skeleton. So what does that mean? That there is no big bone. So don't say you're big boned. You just have extra fat on your bones, right? You're putting stress on your joints, which is why you have joint issues. So yeah, I don't want to hear that shit. Like, comment, subscribe.